much sense to me. This makes too much sense. I just cannot see this happening any other way. If you believe everything is going digital, and I've said this before on this show before too, you'd also believe that eventually your digital life is probably going to be worth more and mean more to you than your physical life. I don't know how far out this is. 40 years, 50 years, 60 years, 60 years.
It might not even be that far.
It's not spying on your every transaction. But if the government can succeed in eliminating all paper currency and force us to do every transaction.
We built a system that we thought decentralized to work for us, that we decentralized to work for the government.
We end up empowering the government.
And son of a
That's why they're not taking it down. They're like, keep going, guys.
Yo, we see everything you're doing.
But now the government, and what people forget, there are a lot of...
That's fucked. And by the way, that's going to happen.
We built it for them.
Yeah, there are a lot of people...
Satoshi fucked us.
Fucking asshole.
Damn it, Dogecoin.
Dude, like, you sent $22 million to this wallet, which belongs to an international arms dealer. It's on the internet. You're going to jail.
On it. Right, but it ends up backfiring and gives the government more power. And the reason you don't want the government knowing every single transaction that you make, right, is they have too much personal information about you. And a lot of people think, well, I'm not doing anything wrong, so what difference does it make?
Are you about to bring this into data?
Well, huh?
Are you about to bring this into a data conversation?
What I'm talking about is you may be doing things that are totally legal, that are not wrong, but the government may end up using it against you in some way in the future. And the government could be very corrupt in the future. And one of the ways that we keep the government from getting corrupt is the ability to violate corrupt laws, right? If the government passes very bad laws, people may not want to follow those laws if they're wrong. But if they can track you and find out who the lawbreakers are because they know every single transaction that you've made, it makes it harder, to mount the resistance against a corrupt government. So you never want to put a government in a position where it has so much information about every single citizen, and you have no way to...
That's actually fucking wild.
You just ruined my
fucking
dude.
Wild.
What fucking if Satoshi is actually Ronald fucking Reagan?
It's possible.
Ronald Reagan's dead, right?
It's possible.
Okay. So shit. Let's walk that back one. George Bush. Like, what if Satoshi is a member of the government who's like, power to the people, decentralization, so that all these people are like, dude, now the government can't fuck with me, only so that the government could fuck with them.
Oh my God, we're the bugs.
Yeah.
Yes.
Maybe.
Defending space or defending other types of attacks. You've got a very interesting perspective. So just maybe walk us through how you see the Bitcoin network as like a defense mechanism.
When you say something is a weapon system or something is a defense system, some people like jump automatically to thinking you're describing a gun or something like that. But a lot of things are defense systems and or weapon systems that you wouldn't intuitively think about. So for example, the Romans created stone roads between ports, right? That was created by the Roman legion. It was a defense system so that they could get to, defend their ports easier terrestrially. Or for example, like, this is a good example. Why do you think we have GPS? If I ask you that.
Why?
Right, yeah. Why do we have GPS?
To understand where we are and where we're going.
Right, so to have precision navigation, right? And also to have precision timing, because every GPS satellite has an atomic clock in it.
Correct.
So why do you think we actually built GPS?
So everyone's on the same page in terms of time?
Right. So the reason why we built GPS...
I feel like I'm in school getting a quiz. Damn, F-. Go ahead.
When Sputnik was first launched, it was sending out a radio signal, and we had Americans that were measuring that signal. And the scientists realized that you could do time distance of arrival off of a satellite, which is cool because then you could triangulate your position relative to the satellite. And so for 20-something years, 25 years, the scientists kept on arguing it would be really beneficial to humanity if we created a giant constellation of signal-emitting satellites that would allow anyone anywhere in the world to be able to triangulate their position relative to those satellites. It would be awesome for navigation. And by the way to do it precisely is if we put super precise clocks into space, which would double benefit us because then everyone would have basically free access to precision timing as well. And so the scientists argued for decades that this would be valuable to humanity, but that's not why it was funded, because it seemed too expensive at the time. People didn't fully understand its value until we ran into an issue where we were in a Cold War with the USSR, and we had the capability to launch intercontinental ballistic missiles. And those intercontinental ballistic missiles knew where they were because they had inertial navigation systems in them that were accurate for something like 30 minutes. Ditto for if we scrambled bombers and we wanted to fly bombers and drop bombs, they would have inertial navigation systems inside of them that were accurate enough. But a problem came up where, what if Russia shot first, or what if the USSR shot first, and they targeted our bombers and they targeted our ICBM silos? We would have to be able to mutually assure the destruction of Moscow if that happened, right? We would have to make it too expensive for them to make that decision. And so the way we do that is we have something called Trident missiles, or submarine launched ballistic missiles. We basically park nuclear missiles hidden under the water all around the world, so that if anyone tried to shoot first, it would hurt them, right? We could guarantee that would hurt them, even if we lost our ICBMs, even if we lost our bombers. So it's called the nuclear triad. There's a problem though, technical problem. The technical problem is that submarine has been underwater for 30 days and the inertial navigation system on it is useless. So if we did get shot first, and then we decided to do a second strike to mutually assure the destruction of Moscow, and we launched that Trident missile and it breaks the surface, how is it going to know where it is? It has no idea where it is.
Correct.
That missile has no idea. And so what we realized is, man, we need a giant constellation of satellites so that anything, anywhere in the world at any time could know where it is, particularly a Trident submarine launched ballistic missile. And so that's eventually what caused us to fund GPS. And then once we funded GPS and once we built this massive weapon system, right, that was intended explicitly to mutually assure the destruction of USSR, did we realize, wow, there's a lot of other stuff that you could do with GPS. This is great for civilization, just like the scientists kept on saying. And then in Desert Storm, the value of precision timing and navigation was very clear. And since then, especially once we turned off selective availability and allowed everyone to have precision navigation and timing, it's clear. But people often forget that GPS is a weapons system. It exists to mutually assure the destruction of other countries, right? There's a lot of weapon systems like we have that do the same thing, right? Nuclear, hardened satellite communications, right? TCP/IP, the internet, right? The internet exists so that we can survive, we can have C2 that survives a nuclear level strike. SHA, right? As in SHA 256, right? As in designed by the NSA. These are systems that are explicitly intended for the defense of the United States. And so, if we keep pulling that thread, eventually we get to all of the critical enabling technologies that go into Bitcoin. We get TCP/IP, we get SHA, we get precision timing and synchronization of nodes through GPS. We get it written in C++, which was, something that an American designed at Bell Laboratories. Every single piece of Bitcoin that fundamentally matters is effectively a piece of technology that was designed to improve military scale defense, particularly against the destruction of nukes. And so if you continue to pull that thread a little bit further and a little bit further, you can start to conceptualize Bitcoin as way more than just money. Bitcoin is, and I know a lot of people on Twitter will be angry at me for saying this, Bitcoin is a weapon system, just like GPS is a weapon system. It is a weapon system designed explicitly for self-defense, and it is extremely effective, right? It is literally nuclear resistant. Like every piece of it was designed explicitly to be resistant to nuclear strikes. So that's pretty interesting, right? There's probably some national strategic opportunities with Bitcoin that we could take advantage of, and that's kind of.
Hit the like, hit the subscribe if you found this video interesting or informational. Peace.